Welcome back students to EduVisa Prep World. Now, as I promised you in the last video that we'll be discussing more mistakes in the continuation part. So this is part 2 of that video. Now here, let me continue with that. The mistake 3 that you need to avoid in your IELTS writing section or in your IELTS exam is rushing in your listening section. What do I mean when I say rushing in your listening section? You often have a problem, or students really have a problem when they come to me, that the only problem that they face in their listening section is that the audio only gets to be played once and it is not rewinded. I understand this nerve-wracking situation, the anxiety that kicks in, and the worrisome environment that hovers on your head. Now, what if I miss the answer? I will not get a chance to write the answer or to listen to the audio again. But do you really think that panicking and getting anxious would help you? No. So let's understand what all tips and tricks that you can follow in this situation to make sure that you do not miss a word from your listening audio section. The first thing is that you need to understand your listening test. Your listening section is divided into certain sections. You will listen an audio for each section. For example, there are going to be 40 questions. Even if I say that question number 1 to 10 is in 1, 11 to 20, 21 to 30, 31 to 40. Each of the 4 sections will have a different audio for themselves. Now the audio is going to be in a variety of accent, be it British, American, Australian, etc. Now understand that audios or the test is not measuring your ability to understand the accent. Rather, it's measuring your ability to retain, process, analyze, and transfer the information that is being given in the audio on the paper on your listening test questions. So you have to make sure that you're familiarizing yourself with all the accents so that you do not miss out on any word being spoken there. Now, why rushing is a problem? For example, if you are listening an audio that is talking about a seminar or about a 7-day workshop. Now, while you are fixated on when the speaker said Monday, you're fixated on writing down the events of Monday, the speaker is then switching on to Tuesday. Now your focus switches on to Tuesday. Now suddenly the brain cannot understand 2 different days over here. Now what happens is you did not even get the answer for Monday, also you missed out on the answers of Tuesday. In this case and scenario, you are losing on both the ends. So it's better to strategically plan and practice while you are attempting your listening section. Now let's fix these mistakes. Let's fix this nervousness, this anxiety that kicks in and why you are rushing. So let's fix this problem of yours. Now here are some proactive listening strategies that you need to follow before you start listening to your audios. Preview questions. When you're given time to look at the questions, don't skim. Use this time wisely to understand what's being asked. Look for keywords in the questions, words like dates, names, locations, or numbers. These act as signposts while you listen. Underline keywords. Let's say the question asks, when is the meeting scheduled? Underline meeting and scheduled. This helps your brain tune in when you hear those words or synonyms in the audio. Predict the type of answer. If the question asks for a number, you know to listen for something like a date or time. If it's asking for a name, be alert for people being introduced or mentioned. Now let's go in an example. Let me show you how this works in real time. Imagine the question says, where will the next conference take place? Step 1. Underline next conference and take place. Step 2. Predict the type of answer. It's probably a location. Step 3. As the audio plays, listen specifically for mentions of venues, cities, or buildings. This method keeps you focused and minimizes the risk of missing important details. Now, one major question that worries everyone: what if I miss an answer? Even if you're missing an answer, it's not a big of a deal. The world is not coming an end to that day. If you're missing an answer, make sure to remain focused, to remain calm and move on. Understand this, missing 1 or 2 answers will not impact your overall score, right? Your overall performance is going to build up your score. So make sure that do not panic while you're missing 1 answer, because in that effect, you're going to miss the next 2 or 3 answers or probably get them wrong. So even if you're missing any answer, stay calm, stay focused. It happens to everyone, and move on and perform other questions really well. Mistake number 4, not reviewing your grammar. Guys, grammar is the backbone of English language or to any language. So be it your listening section, reading section, writing or speaking section, your grammar forms the most important base wherein if you're going to lack in this, you're legit going to lose all your scores. So make sure your grammar is top notch. Make sure your grammar is perfect. Whatever you're reading, whatever you're writing, whatever you're speaking, whenever you're listening, grammar plays a most important role over here. Now, why grammar matters a lot? If you are going to write a sentence that is poorly structured in its grammar, it can sound confusing, it will not give out the clarity in their ideas, and the examiner is going to be confused as well as irritated. So the examiner is going to score you while being in a bad mood. So you don't want to lose scores based on mood. So make sure that your grammar is perfect over here. Let me give you an example over here. Imagine saying, I go to the market yesterday. What's wrong with this sentence? You're mixing present and past tenses. The correct version is, I went to the market yesterday. This may seem like a small error, but in IELTS, it's a red flag for examiners. Now, let's go through a quick tense refresher. In your present tense, the tenses are divided into 4 parts. For example, your simple present tense, if the action is in a habit, if it's a universal fact or it's a universal truth. For example, she goes to the school daily. They go to school daily. Something which happens daily, something which is in a routine. Okay. Next is your present continuous tense. Any action that is happening right now. Whenever you are talking about any action that is happening or ongoing, you use the word ing with your action verb. For example, she is going to the school right now, or they are going to school. Correct? I am going to school. So here it reflects that your action is taking place right now. Present perfect tense. Supposedly an action started in the past and just got completed. You have to make it a golden rule. If you are using has, have, had as your helping verb in any of your sentences, the form of verb is going to be the third form of verb with it. So here, supposedly you want to say she has gone to the school. Okay, it means now they have gone to the school. You have to keep it in your mind that whenever you're writing has or have, the verb or the action verb is going to be in its third form. Coming on to your present perfect continuous. Now here, some action that has started in the past and it's still continuing in the present. Now here, we add she has been going to the school. Okay, or they have been going to the school. Now here, we add for and since. Now this will be coming in a new video where we will be also explaining you the difference between different conjunctions, different words, different prepositions. So that's why like, share and subscribe to the channel. So coming on to the past tense, guys. Now past tense, what are the words, what are the helping verbs that you can use? Was, were. For example, she was going to the school. It means past continuous tense. And if you want to write simple past tense, some action that actually just happened in the past, how are you going to write? She went to school yesterday. Okay. Now here, if you want to write, here's a tip, here's a trick thing over here. If you want to write that she did not go to school yesterday, right? Why are we using the first form of verb with did over here? Now here comes in another grammar rule. If you are writing did in itself suggests that the action is taking place in past. So your action verb is going to be in its first form and not in its second form. Always remember. Okay. Now your past perfect tense. It means some action started in the past and ended in the past. Again, had, as I told you, the golden rule, has, have, had, third form of verb. Don't think more onto this. She had gone to the school. Past perfect continuous. Some action started in the past, went for some time, and then ended in the past itself. She had been going to the school. When you come to the future tense, you have to use will and shall. Over there, she will go to school, okay, or she will be going to the school. So make sure you're applying all these rules while you're writing an essay or while even you're speaking. Always make sure that whenever you're writing an essay, the entire essay should be in one form of tense. To avoid any confusion, to avoid any sort of, any sort of ruckus in your essay, make sure you're writing your essay in one format of tenses and not mix a lot of here and there. See, mistakes happen, but you have to make sure that you're reviewing your mistake, you're analyzing them, and you're correcting them, and you're making sure that you're not repeating them again. So do watch this video again slowly, take down notes, and drop the comments that if you face any sort of another trouble, if you want any particular grammar topic that we need to cover for you, I will do that. Drop it in the comment box, it's all open for you. And don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to the channel, and we will be coming up with more interesting content like this. Till then, bye bye guys.